after my football career was done playing and coaching, transitioned into the athlete and coach representation world. So I'm the director of football at a company called Athletes First, which is the country's largest independently owned sports agency, primarily focused on football, professional athletes, and then college and professional coaches. So just, obviously different times to say the least, especially with the draft coming up and some of the travel restrictions and things like that. So very, very interesting time, but certainly just adjusting to it and trying to help and advise these clients as best as we possibly can.
Who are some of the clients that that fans back here or fans across the country would know that that you represent and that you work with, and even some ones here this season before the draft?
Yeah, sure. I mean, some guys with some local ties. Actually, work with the head coach at Kent State football, Sean Lewis, who's a superstar coach, and anyone in the area, Northeast Ohio, he understands the type of football played there, and it's kind of he has shot a jolt of energy into that program. So the people of Northeast Ohio, I hope they support Kent State football. But and then on the player side, had a first round pick last year, Noah Fant, the tight end for the Denver Broncos. Have a guy this year, Cole Kmet, who I think will probably be in that first round conversation, tight end from Notre Dame. A few Ohio State guys, Devon Hamilton, Draymond Jones last year, third round pick. So yeah, so really, diving into it and really enjoying both sides in the coaching and player representation world.
How has this whole pandemic impacted things as far as an agent perspective? As you get closer to the draft, the workouts, the visits, those aren't happening
Yeah.
as far as players going to teams and meeting with them and that kind of thing. So how does that impact the whole process?
Yeah, no, it has had a huge impact on the process. This is usually a really busy time for top prospects to be traveling throughout the country, visiting the 32 different NFL organizations, having dinner with the ownership and coaching staff and all those guys. And then you have pro days. So, I know a lot of football fans are familiar with the NFL Combine, but each school also has what's called a pro day to have a more intimate setting and work out with each of their prospects. And the guys that weren't invited to the combine, I don't work with any of those guys, but there's a lot of those guys out there, and really feel for those guys because they have really a missed opportunity to get in front of NFL personnel and to be properly evaluated for the draft process. So definitely has changed a lot. We're working with each of the NFL teams and each of our clients and schools, the universities, and the best way to get the information on these guys out to the NFL teams.
You played at Mooney, tremendous career there, won a state championship there, then to Notre Dame, then to the NFL, Broncos, Chiefs, and Raiders. What do you miss most about being on the field playing?
Two things I miss most. One, certainly the camaraderie of the locker room. I think any former player will say that. Any high school player will say that. I mean, you just miss the moments between the moments, the moments in the locker room that you get to really form the bond and lifelong friendships. I still am very, very close with a lot of my Mooney teammates, a lot of my Notre Dame teammates, and in the NFL. And then the competition. It's hard to replicate the competition of sport and the ability and opportunity to get the juices flowing and get to run around and hit somebody. Although I'm an old man now, I still miss those days, certainly. So those are without question the two things, the brotherhood, camaraderie, and then obviously the competition of things. So definitely miss it. And luckily, my job now kind of keeps me involved in the game, but certainly miss being in the game.
And you certainly haven't forgotten about your roots growing up here in the Valley. How special is it? I know you're all the way across to the other end of the country, the other side of the country, but Youngstown's still very, very special with your family here and all your roots here. What's it mean to you?
I mean everything. It's funny. Anyone that knows me knows where I'm from because it takes me about 15 seconds to let them know that my name's Kyle McCarthy. I grew up in Youngstown, Ohio. So I'm very, very proud of that. I think the community, the type of people there, the moral code of the people in the Mahoning Valley certainly helped mold me into the person I am. I should give a shout out to my parents too. Obviously, they're pretty influential as well. But very, very proud of the type of people that are from the Youngstown area, and it's crazy. Now that I'm on this side of things and I'm all the way in California, that the Youngstown name, the Youngstown culture, and all that, it resonates, and you'd be shocked how much along throughout my life, I just, you meet people from Youngstown whose cousin was from Youngstown or whatever it may be. And it's always fun to find the Youngstown connection for sure.